You know, the shit that I say is gonna get me into trouble. But I don't care because I know that what I have to say trumps 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 my own safety. Okay. Now, you got a lot of people in the so-called countries. They not real countries, but they educating the uneducated. But they're educating them in areas that is stimulating their brain, but they're not educating them on the things that they need to know. Now, what do they need to know? Well, if you call yourself a king, I did a video. I put a video out earlier, basically exposing how there is no king and queen in the United States. There's no black king or black queen in the United States because a king and a queen, you know, is the highest authority. There's no one's authority over the king or the queen. Okay, a king and a queen cannot be arrested. Okay, you know, the only way to get around the kings, you know, a supreme king, you know, is to kill him. So, with that being said, okay, you call yourself a king and a queen. Well, a king and a queen understands the political agenda of all military groups in his surrounding environment. He understands what their goals are. He understands what they're doing at every minute of the day. Okay. If you don't have no understanding of no military groups in your region, you don't understand what people are doing. You don't understand the politics. You can't call yourself a king or a queen. Now, another thing is this. So you got a lot of people, you know, trying to push this Christianity stuff. What people need to understand, I did on my previous video. If you ain't watching, you need to go back and watch it. There is only two main religions in Africa. Okay. Now, if you want to disprove me, go ahead and rebuttal. You can put it in the comment. I promise I won't block you. You know, you could dislike my video. I don't care. But in Africa, there's only two religions: Christianity and Islam. Okay, these are the two main religions. And all Christian nations, which are European controlled, there are tribal religions that exist. You know, whether it be Yoruba, Igbo, Ifa, it doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of tribal religions that exist in European controlled nations. Now, what you need to understand is that the Europeans, the way they build their systems up is that they make it multicultural. Freedom of religion is a European concept, and all of their countries, there's many different religions. Now, all these religions are man-made. All of them are created by the Europeans, you know, but people believe in them like they really real. So we having all these redundant conversations about different cultures, about different religions, that European controlled nations exist. Now, if you want to get back onto your African mind, you got to understand that Africans, they do not tolerate a religion outside of Islam. In any Muslim country, you know, they're really strict about that. You got to pray 5 times a day. You know, when their clock hit 12 o'clock, you know, everybody, I don't give a damn what you're doing. You working, you cleaning, it don't matter. You got to drop what you're doing. You got to go to the mosque and pray. They're really strict about that. There is no Igbo and none of that mess in no Muslim country. You got to understand that. Only in European controlled countries. So there is a war being waged in Somalia, in Kenya, in Nigeria, and many other countries in Africa. And basically, is the Muslims are the freedom fighters. They're basically trying to take control of Africa and make it strictly only for Africans. Why the UN, the United Nations, and the United Nations is nothing but the League of Nations. Okay, you don't know the League of Nations, you got to go back. The League of Nations, you got to go see Haile Selassie video, because you got a lot of ignorant Negroes walking around talking about Ethiopia was never conquered. when Mussolini invaded Ethiopia, slaughtered a whole bunch of Ethiopians, and banned Haile Selassie out of his own country. Now go look up the video. It's still on YouTube. Type in League of Nations Haile Selassie video. Okay, it'll tell you. You know, see how they treated that man. They treated him with extreme disrespect. They treated the king, the ruler of the country, with extreme disrespect. So that's showing you what they think about you. Okay? So the United Nations is the same shit as the League of Nations. They just changed the name. Okay? So these people, the United Nations is not for you. Got to understand that. So the United Nations, anything they got to do with this European, anything they got to do with the Bible, anything they got to do with multiculturalism, anything they got to do with any of that, it's all European nonsense. It's redundant to keep going around in circles about irrelevant shit, man. It's redundant. Now, if you want to start making progress, you need to start talking about African shit. You need to start talking about Islam. You need to start talking about politics. You need to start talking about how in the hell we could get some connection going on. If you could raise the consciousness here in the States, you could raise the consciousness in the UK, you could raise the consciousness in South Africa and all the other brainwash controlled countries. You understand? So we need to stop having these redundant conversations. Point blank.